The basketball world just exploded, and Angel Reese is watching her worst nightmare unfold in real time. Caitlin Clark didn't just drop a logo with Nike, she launched a cultural revolution that's making every other player in the league look like they're playing in the minor leagues. The double C design isn't just breaking the internet, it's breaking spirits, especially one in Chicago who thought she had this rivalry locked up. What makes this even more devastating is the timing. Just when Reese thought her Reebok deal would finally give her the spotlight she craves, Clark comes through and completely obliterates any chance of that happening. The numbers are absolutely brutal. And if you think Clark deserves this massive win, drop a comment saying Queen of the Court right now. But here's where it gets really interesting. Nike didn't just hand Clark a $28 million deal over 8 years, they gave her something that money can't buy: cultural dominance. The interlocking CC logo that just dropped is already being called the most iconic design in women's sports history. It's got 3 hidden meanings, the 2 obvious C's for her name, and a 3rd subtle curve representing her unlimited range on the court. Fashion experts are comparing it to luxury brands like Chanel and Gucci, which is exactly what Nike wanted. They're not just selling basketball gear, they're selling a lifestyle, and Clark is the perfect ambassador. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is sitting with her AR Halo logo that sounds more like a failed video game than a signature brand. The contrast couldn't be more stark. Clark's merchandise is crashing websites and selling out in 15 minutes, while Reese's Reebok gear is sitting on shelves collecting dust. Store managers are literally begging people to buy Reese merchandise just to clear inventory space for more Clark products. What happened next would shock everyone who thought this was just about basketball. The moment Clark's logo hit social media, it generated over 50 million impressions in the first 24 hours. That's more engagement than most Super Bowl commercials get. Fans started camping outside Nike stores before the official announcement even finished. The resale market went absolutely insane, with people flipping Clark merchandise for 3 times the retail price within hours. But the real story is what's happening behind closed doors in Chicago. Sources close to the Sky organization say Reese has been increasingly frustrated watching Clark's rise. She's been avoiding saying Clark's name in interviews, calling her that player, or referring to the attention on women's basketball without acknowledging who's actually driving it. The jealousy has become so obvious that even her own teammates are reportedly uncomfortable with how she handles Clark-related questions. The business implications are staggering, and this is where things get really wild. Clark's jersey sales aren't just leading the WNBA, they're second in all of basketball. Let that sink in for a moment. She's outselling LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Anthony Edwards. Her draft day jersey sold out faster than any athlete in any sport in history, gone in under 60 minutes. Nike executives are calling it the most successful product launch in women's sports ever. Reese, on the other hand, is learning what it means to be second best in the most painful way possible. Her Reebok signature shoe that Shaquille O'Neal personally endorsed is being treated like clearance rack material. The colorway is basic white with minimal design elements, and fans are calling it the most boring signature shoe in basketball history. Even Reebok's own marketing team seems to have given up with minimal promotion and 0 viral campaigns. But that wasn't the whole story, because what Clark did next completely changed the game. She showed up to practice wearing the full Nike collection unreleased pieces that won't hit stores for months. The casual flex sent social media into overdrive, with fans dissecting every detail of her outfit. The pants, the hoodie, the accessories, everything became instant must-haves. Fashion influencers who never talked about basketball before suddenly became WNBA experts just to get in on the Clark phenomenon. The international impact is where this gets absolutely insane. Clark's logo is already trending in 12 different countries. Kids in Tokyo are drawing the double C on their notebooks. Teenagers in Barcelona are camping outside Nike stores for the European release. Brazilian fans are creating viral TikToks, recreating her signature shots while wearing bootleg versions of her merch because they can't wait for the official drop. Angel Reese's international presence? Basically non-existent. Reebok's global marketing budget for her line is reportedly less than what Nike spends on Clark's social media campaigns alone. The disparity is so massive that industry insiders are calling it the biggest mismatch in sports endorsement history. Here's something that nobody's talking about, but it's absolutely crucial. Nike's investment in Clark isn't just about selling shoes and shirts. They're positioning her as the face of women's sports globally for the next decade. Internal documents leaked to marketing blogs suggest Nike sees Clark as their female Michael Jordan, a once-in-a-generation athlete who transcends their sport. They're already planning collaborations with fashion houses, documentary series, and even a potential sneaker museum exhibition. The psychological warfare between these two players has reached a breaking point. Reese recently posted a cryptic message on social media saying success isn't measured by one person's achievements, clearly a shot at Clark. But Clark's response was even more savage. She didn't respond at all. She just kept winning, kept selling, and kept building her empire while Reese screams into the void trying to get noticed. What makes this even more brutal is the fan reaction. Clark's supporters have turned into an army defending her against any criticism and promoting her brand with religious fervor. They're buying multiple pieces of merchandise, creating fan art, and turning every Clark highlight into viral content. Reese's fanbase is struggling to maintain relevance, with most of their engagement coming from arguing with Clark fans rather than actually supporting their player. The financial reality is hitting Reese where it hurts most. While Clark's deal guarantees her $3.5 million per year just from Nike, Reese's Reebok contract is reportedly worth less than $500,000 annually. That's a 7-to-1 ratio that perfectly represents the gap in their marketability. Clark is set to earn more from merchandise sales in 1 month than Reese will see from her entire first year with Reebok. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming, and if you're still watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button because this next part is absolutely wild. Nike is already planning Clark's second signature shoe before the first one even drops. They're so confident in her star power that they're accelerating their usual timeline. Typically, athletes wait 3 to 5 years between signature releases, but Clark is getting the superstar treatment with annual drops planned for the next 8 years. The technology going into Clark's signature shoe is next-level stuff. Nike's top designers, the same team that works on LeBron and KD's lines, are incorporating their most advanced cushioning system and a revolutionary traction pattern designed specifically for Clark's playing style. The shoe will reportedly retail for $160, making it one of the most expensive women's signature shoes ever, but Nike expects it to sell out instantly. Reese's shoe situation is almost sad by comparison. The design is basic, the technology is outdated, and the marketing campaign is practically invisible. Reebok is treating it like a budget release with a $90 price point that screams, "We don't believe this will sell at premium prices." Even worse, early reviews from sneaker blogs are calling it uncomfortable and poorly constructed. The cultural impact extends way beyond basketball, and this is where Clark's dominance becomes almost unfair. She's been invited to Paris Fashion Week, the Met Gala, and exclusive Nike events with celebrities fighting to be photographed with her. Her logo is being worn by musicians, actors, and influencers who wouldn't normally touch sports merchandise. She's transcended athletics and become a genuine cultural icon. Meanwhile, Reese is struggling to get invited to local Chicago events. Her biggest celebrity endorsement came from a reality TV star nobody under 30 has heard of. The contrast in their cultural relevance is so stark that marketing professors are already using it as a case study in how star power translates to commercial success. What really exposes the jealousy is how Reese talks about the growth of women's basketball. She keeps saying it's not because of one person desperately trying to claim credit for something that's obviously driven by Clark's popularity. The WNBA's viewership numbers tell the real story. Games featuring Clark averaged 2.5 million viewers, while games without her struggle to break 500,000. That's a 500% difference that no amount of denial can explain away. The social media metrics are even more devastating. Clark's logo announcement generated more engagement than the entire WNBA Finals last year. Her Instagram following grew by 2 million in the week after the Nike reveal. She's gaining followers faster than established NBA superstars, and every post becomes instant viral content. Reese's social media growth has actually stalled, with many followers only engaging to defend Clark against her subtle jabs. But the real knockout blow came from an unexpected source. Michael Jordan himself reportedly called Clark to congratulate her on the Nike deal. Sources say he told her she reminds him of himself when he first signed with Nike, hungry, talented, and ready to change the game forever. That cosign from the greatest of all time is worth more than any endorsement deal, and it must be eating Reese alive, knowing she'll never get that level of respect. The merchandise sales tell the complete story of this rivalry. In the first week after the logo announcement, Clark's products generated over $10 million in revenue. That's not a typo, $10 million in 7 days from logo merchandise alone. The signature shoe hasn't even dropped yet, and Nike has already recouped a significant portion of their investment. Financial analysts are calling it the most successful product launch in women's sports history by a factor of 10. Reese's merchandise numbers are so embarrassing that Reebok won't even release them publicly. Industry insiders estimate her total sales for the entire year won't match what Clark generates in a single month. Stores are already planning to reduce Reese inventory to make room for more Clark products because shelf space is valuable, and Reese merchandise simply doesn't move. The international expansion plans show just how different these two trajectories are. Nike is opening Clark-exclusive stores in major cities worldwide. Tokyo, London, Paris, and Shanghai will all have dedicated Clark sections by next year. They're treating her like she's already a global superstar because the data shows she is. Her jersey is the top-selling women's basketball jersey in 15 different countries, most of which don't even broadcast WNBA games regularly. Reebok's plan for Reese internationally? There isn't one. They're struggling to maintain relevance in the US market, and international expansion isn't even on the radar. The brand is essentially admitting that Reese doesn't have global appeal, which must be devastating for someone who thought they were going to be the face of women's basketball. What nobody's talking about is the mental toll this is taking on Reese. Sources close to her say she's become obsessed with Clark's success, checking social media constantly and getting visibly upset when Clark achievements trend. She's reportedly demanded that her team stop mentioning Clark around her, but that's basically impossible when Clark dominates every basketball conversation. The upcoming season is going to be absolutely brutal for Reese. Every game against Clark will be marketed as Clark versus whoever Clark happens to be playing. The narrative has already been written. Clark is the star, and everyone else is just supporting cast. Reese thought she could change that narrative with her Reebok deal, but instead she's learned that you can't manufacture star power. It either exists or it doesn't. Clark's influence is reshaping the entire sport. Young girls are practicing logo threes because that's what Clark does. Youth basketball camps are teaching the Clark crossover. Her playing style is being copied at every level from middle school to college. She's not just a player, she's become the blueprint for how to succeed in modern basketball. The money flowing into women's basketball because of Clark is staggering. Sponsors who never cared about the WNBA are suddenly writing massive checks. TV networks are bidding wars for broadcast rights. Cities are competing to host WNBA events. All of this growth is directly tied to Clark's marketability, and everyone in the league knows it, even if some won't admit it publicly. But here's the ultimate irony that must be killing Reese. By trying so hard to compete with Clark, she's actually made Clark look even better. Every petty comment, every subtle dig, every attempt to steal spotlight just reinforces that Clark is the one everyone's chasing. Reese has inadvertently become the perfect foil, the bitter rival who can't accept reality, making Clark's success story even more compelling. The future is already written, and it's all Clark. Nike has plans that extend way beyond basketball. They're developing a Clark lifestyle brand that includes athleisure fitness gear and even a potential fashion collaboration with high-end designers. She's going to be everywhere: billboards, commercials, streaming documentaries. The machine behind her is unstoppable, and it's only just getting started. For Reese, the future looks increasingly irrelevant. Reebok's commitment to her is already wavering with rumors that they're disappointed in early sales numbers. Without significant improvement, she could lose her signature deal entirely. The gap between her and Clark isn't closing, it's expanding at an exponential rate that must be absolutely crushing for someone with her ego. The lesson here is simple and brutal. Talent matters, but marketability matters more. Clark has both in abundance, while Reese has neither at the level required for superstardom. This isn't just about basketball anymore, it's about who captures the imagination of millions. And on that battlefield, Clark has already won the war.